Time is upon us, and I would like to call the meeting to order. Noticing the presence of quorum, I'd like to ask the Reverend Jonas to lead us in invocation, please.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, Lord, in Jesus' name, once again this day, we are thankful to you, God, to be able to be here. We're thankful to you, God, that you are with us, Lord. And we do ask, God, for your guidance tonight. Give us the wisdom, Lord, to take care of the town business in a way that is right for everybody possible, Lord. And again, we do thank you, God, for your help and for your guidance. We will not fail to give you the praise and honor for it. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I would like to pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The next thing on the agenda is the public hearing for the fiscal 2025
Approve the minutes.
approval of minutes. And this, I need bifocal.
I got tried.
Approval of minutes from May 27th, 2025 meeting. Everyone should have a copy of those.
So moved.
Got a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Now I get the public hearing for the fiscal 2025-26 proposed budget. Public notice is hereby given that the council of the town of Roaring Tree, Virginia will conduct a public hearing pursuant to Title 15.2-2506 of the Code of Virginia at 7 p.m. on June 10th, 2025 in the council chambers of the town hall to consider the proposed municipal budget for the fiscal year of July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026. And there's been a copy posted, and everyone has had a chance to review it. And the budget is a total of $5,288,085, which is an increase of $1,192,263. Now the public hearing is open. If you have anyone who would like to state anything, please come to the mic and state your name. No takers.
Is this published in the paper, on that
We
night?
will declare the public hearing closed. Now citizens time. Would you like to address? the
Yes, sir.
Please.
My name is Dennis Fortner. I live up on Chestnut Avenue. And I'm a little bit concerned about all this noise that's coming from Klockner. It's, I don't even know what to say. It's day and night, 24 hours a day. You can hear it inside the house. And what kind of measures can be taken to remedy that?
Well, I complained about it again this afternoon after you and I spoke.
I've had several
Different
complaints.
citizens.
Me and Becky Harrison have been working hand in hand on that. I've met with Klockner twice, and I can actually,
I mean, you can't even sit outside in the evening. It's ridiculous.
I know that they,
It really is.
that they had train, which when I say train, I mean the heat pump fan people, go down, and they did have a bad bearing and a fan that was faulty. And at that point, I had gotten with Becky, and I think for 5 days, she said it had kind of subsided.
It did, you couldn't even hear it.
And she said it stopped after that inspection. So I met with Becky again earlier this morning, and I was down at the tennis courts listening, and she saw me and came down. So this is quoting my text to Chuck Doan, who is the engineer down there. getting several complaints about the humming noise. 2 people came in today. Any update? And he told me I need to talk to Ty on this. Now, when he says Ty, that's the new plant manager. I had called him and tried to set up a meeting, and he was not interested in meeting with me about it. He basically said, you've met with my, maintenance crew, and I'm not gonna tell you anything different than what they've already told you.
See, that's,
So at that point, he did text me and said that they're trying to get, I believe it was because of the Facebook scrutiny that became,
yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, the next step is the news station. I'll be honest with you.
well, and that's what Ms. Harrison's saying as well. But,
If that's what it takes to get some kind of action,
well, and I will tell you, I live on the other side of town, and I've heard it 3 or 4 times at my house. And I've heard people have put it on Facebook that they hear it out past the Grub Farm.
Yeah.
Going toward Crockett.
yeah.
So something has changed. The first 2 times I went there, they told me that nothing has changed. It was business as usual. It had been doing that 365 days a year, 24 hours a day.
That started after they built that new addition down there, is when I noticed it.
So generally, Mr. Doan had always worked with me on stuff, and this is not the first time it's happened. It happened about 4 years ago. And I went down and talked to the plant manager, and the next day it was gone. I mean, it never came back again until February, I think, maybe March when it started back.
Probably. Look,
We're working on it, and I can actually tell you, his text to me today was, good afternoon, train visited and measured the decibels on my outside units. They are all in spec. I have him quoting some sound blankets for the units, but I don't have a quote yet. Depends on the price.
so in other words, it depends on their quote of the price, whether we're gonna have to continue to listen to that.
Well,
Jason, is that the problem? Is it a heat pump type issue?
honestly, I think, well, I don't, from everybody I've heard, I think that there's, and this is an uneducated opinion on my part, I think that there's vibrations down there or a vent that's not opening or closing the way it should that's causing a humming sound. And I think that it does, I think it varies. I think
It
it'll
does.
go away,
It
it'll go away
does.
for a day and then come back, and I don't know what their operations are. And I do think the wind has something to do with it. I think it blows it right up.
Oh,
I think
yeah,
it
we
blows-
get all
I think
that
it goes
small-
right, I think that sound goes right, I think it hits the other building, goes right up your valley.
Yeah, and, the smell from that place, we've tolerated that for years.
I will tell you that I'm working with Becky on this, and as you know, you've probably talked to Becky, she's not gonna let this.
No, and I'm not gonna let it lay either.
Matter of fact, I talked to Becky Harrison this morning. The reason why she's not here tonight, she's in with Bill at the, Board of Supervisors meeting.
Yeah.
Same thing,
Yeah.
so, yeah. Hey, we're with you.
Yeah, we'll do everything we can
Man, it's ridiculous.
to,
I invite every one of y'all to come up and sit on my porch tonight.
Well, I can hear it in my house. I can hear it in my house. I'll sit on my deck, I can hear it. For the first time, I heard it right after our last meeting, when it was talked about. I had not heard it before that, but it's quite loud now. Is our next step not corporate?
Yes, this is my next step. I'm gonna get with the joint IDA, find out who their contacts are in Gordonsville or Switzerland or wherever they're from now, and that'll be my next
I
step.
think we need to be dealing with corporate, but this guy doesn't want to deal with us.
and if corporate doesn't wanna deal with us, then I think we need to deal with maybe our congressman to see what can be done there. I mean, I think we need to put every option we've got
I
on
do
the
too,
table.
I do too.
To stop it.
Because you know, at first, you were hearing a little bit here, a little bit there, now everybody in town's talking about it.
it's all.
Yeah,
It's getting to be an issue for
And
everybody.
it sounded like,
Graduation was horrible. Graduation was horrible.
and it sounds like he don't care.
Oh, and the other,
or either don't care or ain't gonna do anything about it, capital A and A.
Well, I've seen him in here when he set up a water account. I don't know the man. All I know is that from speaking to him on the phone, he did not seem interested in trying to sit down and come up with a solution.
I mean,
We
which,
should be dealing with corporate.
yeah,
well, I mean, and also the other, I'm sure we don't need to remind them, but this town gave them some matching funds through the JIDA, right?
And
Yes, we did.
basically, and basically, they own at least half of our,
Budget.
no, half of our, industrial park.
Yeah.
But I mean, I
Yeah,
can't
but just
remember that
because-
number, but
Just
yeah.
because they own that much of the land, does that give them the right to
No.
run all over top of
I
us?
don't care if they own half an acre, it doesn't give them the right to do anything.
But I think we have to be careful though, because they are the town's largest taxpayer. Are they not? That's why I think we should be dealing with corporate if we're not getting something from their local manager.
That's gonna be my next step. Now, I don't know whether to wait and see if these blankets work, but it would probably, I probably need to go to corporate now.
Yes.
I
I
mean,
think so.
Well, I know what happened years ago. It got fixed, so why?
I don't know.
What-
if you can fix it once,
what-
surely you can fix it again.
I just don't think they're really trying
That's
hard
what I
enough.
feel.
I think they know that they're the largest industry in Rural Retreat, and I don't think they care. Because I think if they wanted to, I think they could fix it again.
And that may just be a local attitude. That may not be corporate's attitude.
Absolutely.
Right.
Well,
We definitely need to give them, and I know, we're all working on it, but yeah, we need to give them an opportunity to do the right thing.
Well-
And if they don't, we're ready.
yeah, I mean, I don't wanna,
Right.
there comes a time when you got to go to, I wanted the local people to go ahead and just fix the problem. That way, you know, we keep it, but like I said, in your instance, she called me, I went down there, the guy welcomed me in, I sat in the conference room, I sat and talked to him, and we actually drew a map, and I showed him where she lived. He said, give me a day or two. The next day it was gone, never came back, until this incident,
So you can do it again.
if I can get him to. And I don't think it's gonna happen locally now. I don't think it's gonna happen locally this time.
Yeah, I think he's dragging his feet, he's got his heels dug in.
So who is supposed to be fixing the problem? Is it their maintenance people they have there?
They're bringing in outside, it was Trane, Trane, the air conditioning people that came and looked at the units. I've laid eyes on the units.
Something called chillers, right?
It's chillers.
They use-
And if you go by, if you come down now and you go by, the new buildings here, they're right up against the old building. It's a big, it's probably as wide as this room and as tall as this room. It's just a stacked, looks like air conditioning units. But we're well aware of the situation.
I know you are, but I thought, you know, another person here to complain may do some good. But it's ridiculous. I can hear it all night long in my bedroom when I try to sleep. And I have the TV on, and I can still hear it.
It's, the thing to me that gets me is that it comes and goes. I mean, if it can, because
Sound level.
if it's something that you have to have all the time, then how come it's loud sometimes and not loud other times? I mean,
It seems like in the morning, it's not as, it's there, but it's not as loud. And as the day wears on, it gets louder, and then at night, it's just out of hand.
I promise you, we won't stop on this.
I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Sure.
Mr. Warner, at this point, if you don't wanna stay and.
I'll hang out, I'm on.
All of the good stuff, you know,
I'm
you're
good.
welcome to leave or do whatever.
You'll have
want.
something to talk about tomorrow.
You can't run me off, I'm here for good.
Not right now.
That works. Okay, next thing on the agenda is correspondence. Any correspondence from town hall?
I have a complaint.
Yes, ma'am.
We went down to the car wash here in Roller Tree.
Just Tom's doing
It looks awful. 2 of the bays don't even work. It's getting, the grass is growing up around it. It's just like nobody is taking care of it. 'Cause I don't know if anybody else has looked at it or not.
it. I rode by there today after we spoke. Or was it
So I don't know what we could do to see if the person that owns it, will clean that up. I mean, I know that a lot of people abuse it
Right.
because they go in there with trucks and, spray off the mud and just leave the mud
Race
just sitting
cars.
there.
Yeah,
Huh?
In race cars.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's four-wheelers and side-by-sides and everything go through there,
but it really does need to be.
cleaned up.
It's my understanding he's trying to sell it.
He is.
Correct?
He is.
Yeah, I've talked to him, he's trying to, he was down there a little while ago, I think.
So Jason will follow up on that for us.
I can.
How about the, street light that was going on Richfield?
I have contacted AEP. The rep that I was dealing with was transitioning from the Blacksburg office to, I think, a Bluefield or Princeton office. And he's handed that project over to another individual because, quite honestly, I was mowing the other day and I looked over and said, they haven't even done anything on this.
No.
So, I have left a message for the new guy, the new project manager, to get back to me. But we've already turned in a ticket and I reported that it's $7 for one pole, 12 for another pole, which the town is gonna take as part of our lump sum agreement with electricity. But, like I said, I haven't forgotten about it and I'm gonna try my best to get it done as quick as
I
possible.
don't understand why it's taken so long to get things
I
done.
have, we turn, and I know I've said this before, we turn in street lights, and it used to be 2 weeks they were fixed. I've got some over a year old. There's more street lights out in this town now than there's ever been.
Is there anyone else that can be
No.
spoke to about it?
I mean, I went to the regional manager myself. Their customer service is not what it used to be, even a year ago. Even a year ago.
There are the bills.
No.
I spoke with our local man a week or so ago. And he says the company is in turmoil right now. They're laying off people left and right. Their line crews are down. Their local people are down. They got a guy, our local guy, Mike. He's working not only this area, but when he's on call, he's working in other areas. Because they have reduced the number of employees they have, he says, big time.
A few weeks ago, I had to go to my daughter's tennis match in Bland, and he was sitting in the high school parking lot in Bland doing work over there.
Yeah.
That comes on this area.
They surely got enough money to pay people for what they charge for electricity now.
I would say that there's probably gonna be a class action lawsuit pretty soon.
I mean, you tell these people, the citizens, that, something is going to be repaired or, fixed for them, and it seems like it takes
But
forever.
you got to understand that in it there is not under our control. And they got, tell them that. I mean, you just gotta tell them. Jason can't say, hey, get up there and do that, because they're working for AEP and they ain't gonna do nothing, their bosses tell them to do it. And, you know, I like it.
Well, what do they do though when we don't pay our electric bill?
Turn your electricity
That's
off.
right.
Yeah, I know that. But hey, but what I'm saying is, let the citizens know, and don't be afraid to tell them the truth.
I don't.
Okay, and that's what I'm saying. But just tell them. Matter of fact, ain't nothing wrong with them calling. I'm serious. And I know we should be able to get it done, but putting in the request, and your hands are tied from that point forward.
There's an individual that lives, I'll just say Richfield Avenue. And they basically AEP called me as the town manager and said, will you please tell this guy to quit calling us? Because they were fixing a light outside his house, and they didn't have the parts, so they just laid the light down in his yard. And it made him mad. And he called like every day for 3 weeks. And so finally they called me and they said, will you call and explain to this guy that we're waiting on the part and there's nothing we can do? And I'm like, why is that my job?
Seems to me like one of them should have done that.
Well, I mean, you know, like I said, it used to be about a year ago that I could give Brenda, I would take a picture on my phone, I would give her the poll number, she would type it in a computer, it would generate a ticket, and within 2 weeks I knew that light was going to be replaced. Now there's one on Jefferson, there's one on Bumgarner, down Railroad there's 2 out. There's one on Orchard Hills that I know of. There's one on Sherwood, 2 on Sherwood that I know of, and I have turned every one of them in, and some of them have been over a year and not been replaced. I mean, I can call other municipalities to see if they've had better luck doing it another way.
Check into it, see what you come up with. And I'm giving you a checklist of things to do.
It's okay. Hey, that's okay.
If you don't mind. And we can revisit that next meeting and see what you find out.
It probably wouldn't hurt him much, but we could just not pay our light pole bill. You know, it'd probably be like spitting in the ocean, but we'd be like, you know what?
They probably just turn off.
Turn it off.
Yeah, turn them all off.
Yeah.
Shoot, what a mess.
We have a franchise with them that we have to renew every now and then, but who are we gonna renew it with
Exactly.
if it's other than them?
They've got a monopoly.
Yeah.
All right, next on the agenda is the police report.
I don't have a thing.
And we'll go into unfinished business.
No.
Unfinished business, first thing, downtown revitalization, you wanna do that now? or-
Yeah, I'll go ahead and do it now. As I'm sure all of you know, some of the preliminary grade work and parking area have been completed. In my opinion, the quality of the work is exceptional. The contractor also graded and planted grass seed on the lot where the old section house used to be. I think it looks good as well. Everything is blended well. The grass seed was planted correctly, hydro-seeded with straw. And most of you know this because I saw you there. The town's first farmer's market was a success. I thought it was a really nice event, especially for our first one. The farmer's market building, concrete, everything I thought looked really, really good. There were several vendors. As a matter of fact, if things keep going the way they are going, we're going to run out of room for vendors under the canopy. So we may have to to bring, tents into the equation. I know that's not something that we really want to do, but if everybody wants to participate, we're either going to have to extend that building or start, setting up some tents for some of the people. I think that if you do try to extend that building, it's taking a lot of the footprint out of that site for what else we want to do down there. But that's a pretty good problem to have when it's successful.
Speaking of, go ahead, John.
I'm so sorry. Just real quick, yeah, I got several compliments. It's beautiful. The grade work's awesome. It was a great day. It didn't rain for once. But also, I was wondering if we could maybe, because we've got people coming to that site now, if we could get like a little graphic of what we're gonna do down there as far as the splash pad, as far as the playground,
I'm getting to that in just a
Oh,
minute.
with that on, okay, there you go. But I mean, yeah, I think that would be great because people came down there and I talked to 2 or 3 people and they said, well, what's going to happen over here? What's going on? We've kind of got that problem on. So, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Have we received all of the money for that project now?
I have turned in the final, week or so ago, I turned in the final, talked to Travis Jackson, turned in all the final receipts that we had. We had the fencing, the farmer's market structure, and what else did we have? Architectural work and engineering to draw up the plan and turned it in, so
So
they
we're
have
just waiting for them to
we're just
send us
waiting
a
on them
check.
to reimburse us. I had to do a final evaluation application and send it in for reimbursement, but I have done that. Tomorrow's market, we'll have a ribbon cutting event for the farmer's market. This will take place at 3 o'clock. The Chamber of Commerce put this together for us. And there will be representatives from the With Bland Foundation. I called and let them know. Travis and them will be down here since they did give us money for
How
that.
about some restroom facilities?
Uh,
Do we need some temporary things?
Actually, it worked out okay with what we had down there in the building. I didn't hear anybody complain.
The building was open?
The
We could use that
the
building?
building was open.
Okay.
She was going to keep a key to let people go back and forth, but I said, I'm just going to unlock it and we'll try that route. So that way she didn't know, they didn't have to go down there and mess with the locks and the key. And people, just as they needed to, went and used the facility and came back, and it worked out good. It worked out good. And then there will also be a ribbon cutting event at the new laundromat at 2 o'clock tomorrow up here. Get them some advertisement.
Some time ago, we talked about some signs, like Withful has,
Mhm.
for new businesses. Did we ever go any further with that?
No, let me look in, what kind of signs are you talking about, Bob? I
Well,
can't-
Took Withful says, Withful welcomes a new business. And they set them on the sidewalk when a new business opens up.
And they sit there for about a month and then they
Is that,
move them on.
is that something,
Yeah. Whatever you want.
is it just kind of like campaign signs?
No, they're kind of like a
A V.
yeah, a board sign, that sets out in a
Like an
apron.
easel.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Easel. That's what you paint on there. And I think this goes along with your question, Sean. The town has met with a landscape architect, just kind of an initial meeting about the setup of the downtown lot. This guy, I think Mike can attest to this, he impressed me a lot. And his services are not expensive at all. And he wants to present, when did he say, the 1st of June?
July.
First July meeting. And he'll go by the grade, he'll come down and take a look at the grade that we have and everything, and look at what we've proposed and planned. And this architect will help set up a conceptual plan for the downtown lot. I mean, and this will be, he'll come in, present it to council. This will have the proper grading concerning the lot, as well as the splash pad, the playground, landscaping, what kind of plants we want where he thinks the sidewalks should go, where we should have a light, which way it should be pointed. I mean, he would give us a comprehensive, and I think it was what, $3,000? $3,300 to present this to council and give us, he's done several of these. He's from the Lebanon area. I think he did one in Abilene, he's done some in Bristol, he's done some he did Chilhowie's. Chilhowie speaks real highly of him. And he has a pretty good relationship with the person that's doing our splash pad. He was actually the one that told us about it. But you know how you've been asking for a lighting plan and things like that? Well, he can actually put all this together and show you what kind of lighting, what kind of, you know, if lumens, if you're talking about UV, whatever, and which direction it needs to be pointed. Because I know that some of the people down in that area don't want the light pollution coming out of that area onto their residences. This is the guy that would do all that for us.
That's great.
So, hopefully, we get him everything. He will be here at the 1st of July meeting to give us an update on that. As far as downtown, that's all I have,
Okay.
Vice Mayor.
Heritage Day, everything's in line. Monica, do you have any questions?
I've already turned in the application for the event insurance. I called Lisa Shank with Versa, verified that she got it. It has been sent over to the broker. So I'm just waiting on a quote back from them for what we need to pay for that event insurance.
That'll work. Raise the water plant.
The town we actually met this morning. We had a representative from Flow Incorporated that is responsible for Bray actuators. They actually sell Bray actuators. And these are the ones that I've been waiting on getting for quite some time, that came in and didn't have the right electrical part to it. So, went down there, Patrick and Low Gear and him installed it. And instead of AC power, he thought we had DC power. So I told him this is unacceptable. So they're overnighting us the parts to be here tomorrow. So, I mean, we've given him everything but he came himself and took pictures of serial numbers, took pictures of tags, and went over everything. And then when we got the wrong thing, we sent him pictures of what we received, what was on our water plant, and he finally got those to me in about 2.5 weeks, and they were wrong. So,
Why would anybody think we had DC power?
include?
That's just plain stupid.
Thank you, Bob. That was gonna be my,
Yeah.
A lot of that running around anymore.
I mean, I'm at a loss for words. So, tomorrow, and then I'll just go ahead and say this is in my report too. I did reach out to Mount Rogers Planning District Commission concerning grant funding opportunities for a generator at the water plant and funding for Staley Springs Water Plant. These applications open in August and will be rewarded in October. The governor has given each Mount Rogers PDC several $1 million for water and wastewater projects, especially after Helene and what damage it caused. And I fully expect to get full funding for a generator at the water plant. I asked him about fire departments. He said that was not included in the money that the governor did open up because it was specifically for water and wastewater projects. I knew we were getting quotes for the fire department. That's why I asked about a generator for them, but it would not fall under this one.
Do we have any quotes from the firehouse yet?
You heard from the Millhorn guy?
no, have not. He said it would take a little while to get all that worked up. But they did come look at everything, so they know everything that they need to know.
Are we dealing with only one outfit?
Yes.
At this point.
Okay.
And it was gas, right?
Yes, they're all natural.
Natural gas.
So, and then we did talk about maybe getting some funding to cover the engineering fees for Staley Water Plant, because that's gonna be part of what the governor did release money for as well. So hopefully we'll get the bulk of that paid for and a generator down at the water plant. And that's all I have on the water plant.
Okay, what about the sewer plant?
Well, we've actually been busy the last couple of weeks. Donald Vault has completed the necessary repairs to the clarifier that's not been in service. Clarifier will now be put in service and the plant will be functioning normally. We were down to one clarifier for far too long, and he had to go through and do certain things for OSHA standards to get it to safely do it. He finally finished that project up last week, at the end of last week. And we are getting ready to put that back on in service. So that's something we've been waiting on for quite some time as well.
Okay, the next thing, the Main Street sidewalk repair.
The town has received the railing for the sidewalk on Main Street. Talked to Mike today. He's gonna inspect the railing to see if we can install it or if it needs to be outsourced. I mean, he'll take a look at it and see what he thinks we need to do. But it is here, so.
Derelict property.
I spoke to Mr. Sobey about that. He really hadn't gotten back to me. On another note, this is something else that I did receive. I should have brought this up in correspondence. I did receive a complaint. It was something that had already been complained about somebody living in the Pentecostal church out here on Parsonage Avenue. I have driven by that house several nights. I've never seen a vehicle there. But obviously from her phone or her, this person's doorbell camera, there's somebody in the house. I mean, in the
truck.
I've never seen it. I've been there at night.
I've seen
Because
it.
she said that's when it's there.
Yeah, I was there at midnight last night, wasn't there, and that swing is gone.
So I think I reported on this. I may have. I called the owner or the lady that's over the church. I also called Mr. Sobey. And I don't know that I reported on this. I asked him that if somebody lives in a church, now they're still having church services there from what I understand.
They are.
Okay. But if somebody's living in a church and it's not a parsonage, off-site parsonage, should they not pay personal property taxes if their vehicles are garaged at a church in the town of Rural Retreat? And he's looking into that to get me an answer. I mean, in my opinion, if a renter has to pay personal property taxes if they're lodged in the town of Rural Retreat for the year. If they're lodged in the town of Rural Retreat, I think they should pay personal property tax on those vehicles.
What about the tax exemption status of the church?
But this is not a use of the church.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but they should not be tax exempt if they're letting someone live in the church.
But they're still having
They're
services.
still in service.
But are they charging them rent to live in there?
That I don't know.
He's preaching there.
Yeah, could be.
I mean, he really is.
Oh, okay.
He's doing some preaching there.
He is.
Oh, the guy that's.
I was there every morning last week. I was there at 7:30 or 8 o'clock, and that vehicle wasn't there. I seen it there a couple times during the day.
Yeah, I've seen it there during the day.
I mean, they came to my office 2 or 3 months ago, and they come there, and he told me he was preaching there. That he's helping do some preaching there.
Rusty Krieger is the pastor there that holds most of the services. Now, I'm sure he's got someone else.
This is a different church.
Oh.
This is the little one right here.
Yeah, the little.
This is not the big
I'm sorry, I'm
ACS.
sorry.
Roger
I'm
started.
sorry.
Yeah, I know Rusty.
It used to be that Pentecostal
Yeah.
church
Okay,
before that,
okay.
yeah.
This is right here at the motel,
Okay.
just right across,
Right,
right up in the
okay.
motel. The Rock Lucan Church.
Right.
Now, the lady that I spoke to, which is a preacher in Whitfield. She said that they are holding services there. They were supposed to have been gone at the end of April, but everything they try to rent falls through. But Mr. Sobey is looking to see what we can do tax-wise. I'm not sure about this. Do you happen to know, you may, because of, y'all have a parsonage. Is that parsonage considered part of the church? Do we tax the
Yes.
parsonage?
No,
So a parsonage is not taxed?
no,
No,
no.
because it's owned by the church, it's
Yeah.
for the church. It's part of the pastor's,
But they pay personal property taxes.
Part of his compensation.
yeah.
They pay personal property taxes on the vehicles they personally own.
Right. That may be that's probably gonna be the route that Sobey tells me to go. Have them, garage their vehicles in the town of Retreat, pay personal property tax.
Where's the house with the Pentecostal? Which one are you talking about that someone's living?
They're living in the church.
In the church building.
The people that are complaining are the next door neighbors. And they have water and sewer, so, I mean, it is habitable.
All I'm gonna say is you gotta watch them preachers.
But I'm telling you that because you're liable to hear something, see something on Facebook or whatever. I just want you to know what's going on.
It's
But
on Facebook.
I've had, has it been on Facebook? But I've talked to Derek and I have had, conversations with him, with both sides of that situation.
Okay, repairs to the town hall building, where are we at?
I've got a quote, I just need to get it scheduled.
Okay. Water accountability.
Meeting, I've got Kevin with Giles coming up within the next couple of weeks to meet with us about that, to see what we can do as far as flow meters and sectioning off the town.
Was that part also of the water detection alarms? Was that like water leak alarms or something?
It's water leak, it's leak, what's the word I'm looking for? Leak detection meters.
Okay.
How many bids were there on the town hall building?
2 right now. But I have another one that won't. I'm having trouble getting 3 quotes on everything, so.
I understand that, but it's been a long time.
Yeah, I think I can go ahead and get the work going because of the time that we've been trying to get, because if there's any more damage that's done because of water, I can't wait on quotes anymore.
Yeah, that's right.
So, I mean, it becomes not an emergency situation, but a situation where it's going to get.
Deteriorating situation.
That's a better word than I
Yeah.
could come up with.
Okay, new business? Moving on to committee reports, finance and appropriations, we've already,
Yeah, just that, so everybody knows that the budget will be voted on, presented and voted on for the next meeting, that's all. And also, I've got one more thing, since just to report that there's money trickling in from the tax, where we're the collection agency that we have employed to collect some of our taxes. I get a payment just every now and then, and I've had several people come in the office with their letter and ask if it's legitimate, and so they're doing what we have employed them to do.
Excellent. Good deal.
That's all.
okay, personnel ordinances and legal matters.
We'll report that J.G. Corum has been, I'm assuming has been, because it's been over a week, maybe 10 days, that we are moving forward with the lawsuit for the breach of contract over the topsoil that they did not put at the downtown site. Spoke with Mr. Stallard, and he said that he thinks the next route will be mediation. So we'll meet with a mediator and try to come up with some kind of settlement. But I haven't heard their response yet from their attorney.
Does the court have to appoint a mediator?
Generally, the court does appoint a mediator, and it's usually a judge from another jurisdiction. I know when we had the case with, what's the people that did the demo of those buildings? Anyway, we've had to do mediation before, and they brought in a judge from Bluefield to hear, he was the mediator in the case. It was Miss Hooper, where she had fallen. D.H. Griffin. D.H. Griffin was the name of the company. But that's probably the next step on that, so.
And that takes us to your report.
I have basically been through everything, although I will, one other thing I want to report on is, you may hear something about this as well, but down here at the corner of Griever and Bumgardner, East Bumgardner, the sidewalk is in pretty bad shape. It has settled around the DIs, which is the structures that are set in for the drainage, probably that far, literally that far. And it's done it in 4 or 5 sections of the sidewalk. And Miles Concrete is going to be in the next probably 2 to 3 weeks to fix that. I can show you pictures so you'll understand what it is.
How old's that sidewalk?
7 years old?
Is there something wrong with the DIs?
No,
It's just,
it's the sidewalk.
it's
The
just,
DIs are rock solid where they've always been. The sidewalk is.
I'm just wondering,
It was the fill. Well, they didn't
Okay.
fill and compact it like they should.
yeah, there's no connection. I assume we haven't heard anything from our engineering firm about Staley. And I talked to you about this earlier, but I talked to Jason earlier about a sign down here for mobile home park. I think he's gonna talk to him about it.
Yeah, the zoning states that if you have a sign on a property advertising, that's not like, you know, when you do a seal coat job on a driveway, they put their sign in there for a couple weeks. If you have a sign that's meant to stay there continuously advertising a business, the business has to be on that property. And to my knowledge, I do not think his business is on that property. So I will be having a conversation with the owner of that property.
Where's that company from?
He's from Whitfield.
Whitfield?
You have anything, Mike?
And that takes us to the treasurer's report.
Okay, we wrote these checks. BKT Uniforms, $267.96. Blue Ridge Analytical, $2,157. Bright Speed, $73.21. C&D Truck and Safety, $65. Christopher Scott Spraker, $2,220. Centos, $630.54. Ferguson, $210.38. Fisher Auto Parts, $47.88. Flow Control, $4,419.67. Fort Chisel Septic Service, $4,372. Harpo's Hardware, $75.75. Joint Public Service Authority, $2,146.44. KC Property Management, $160. Parks and Corporation, $6,480. Roy Street Post Office, $154. Chantel, $747.36. The Bank of Marion, $126. The Lane Group, $2,900. Thrive, $32. Truist Governmental Finance, $20,155.65. US Cellular, $419.88. USA Blue Book, $144.05. And Miss Utility, $34.50. That's a total of $48,039.27. Any questions?
I never heard him say about what was said there.
Okay,
I never heard him say any of that. Shoot, yeah, I know, see. Try. No, they still do.
his day. What he does.
Jason, what
Yes.
about the used car that's been on the street for over a month?
Let me give Tommy one.
Okay?
And I have a feeling that it's probably coming up on 90 days since they moved out of that, up there, and the sign's still on the building.
Well, what about the sign out here next to the road of the auto parts? It's still CarQuest out there on the road.
That's gotta go, and the sign on the building has to go.
They took
The sign on the building's gone.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
gone.
Was it in the last week since they started putting that flashing?
Nah, they took that long
It's
time.
been-
It's been on a long time.
Oh,
They took it off the next week after we talked about it at a meeting, I think. But he's.
Well, I had called him and said that the signs need to go down.
Yeah.
But he said that I said, well, you've got 90 days to take the signs down, because you had brought it up
Yeah.
in the meeting. And,
But there's still one left out here at the road.
yes, sir.
Sure.
And the sign's still on the Napa building that's been there for some years. It's past its 90 days. I move we adjourn.
Second on that motion? We're adjourned.